For today's headlines, Bato Go rock solid tandem. Stay out of politics, cops told. Doctors want Senate probe resumption. Palace honors Ressa win, says Philippine press remains free. Quezon City embraces contactless traffic ticketing. Marikina condones market penalties. Eleazar grounds Mandaluyong cops. Study finds vaccines prevent severe COVID. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is October 12, 2021, and these are the latest news this Tuesday morning. While saying the party is always open to change, a ranking PDP Laban official on Monday also insisted that Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa was never a last-minute choice for its presidential candidate. Party Secretary General Melvin Matibag, a lawyer, said De La Rosa was, in fact, in the short list of personalities earlier considered to become the party's standard-bearer before the general membership endorsed Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo as the top choice. Go, however, opted to run as vice president after President Rodrigo Duterte, the party's chairperson, forewent his earlier plan of sliding down the vice presidency. Duterte's surprise decision came as a reaction to a survey that found 60% of the respondents were against Duterte seeking the vice presidency. The respondents agreed that it was against the spirit of the 1987 Constitution if Duterte ran for vice president, as it would have given him another shot at the presidency should the next elected president resigns or becomes incapacitated. The re-election of a president is against the charter. National Police Chief General Guillermo Eleazar reminded lawmen to remain apolitical, even in posts on their personal social media accounts, and refrain from showing support for or against any political aspirant. These may be personal accounts maintained by PNP personnel, but anything posted in them would ultimately reflect on the organization and put to question our apolitical stance, Eleazar said in a statement. Eleazar reminded that there is an existing PNP memorandum circular guiding how personnel should post anything on social media, even their individual accounts. That document also prohibits certain social media posts that would be inimical to the interests of the PNP as an organization and prescribes administrative sanctions on violators of the ban, he noted. Eleazar previously urged PNP personnel to avail of the extended voter registration so that they may exercise their right to suffrage. But he pointed out that while he was encouraging all police personnel to exercise their right to suffrage as citizens, they must remain apolitical in carrying out their mandate as members of the PNP. He also cautioned policemen from expressing their political leanings on social media, as such would go against the organization's nonpartisan stance in politics. The Philippine College of Physicians on Monday called for a continuation of the ongoing congressional probe on the alleged corruption in the Department of Health, even as state lawyers defended the executive's ban on cabinet members and other officials from the ongoing Senate Blue Ribbon Committee probe. In a virtual media briefing, the group of health professionals with 10,000 member organizations in the country urged President Duterte to allow the testimony of material witnesses to any legislative investigation. The Office of the Solicitor General said the ongoing hearings by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee are not in aid of legislation. In a statement, the OSG said, for one, there is no preference to a clear and specific piece of legislation that the investigation seeks to aid. For another, the questions propounded during the hearings do not appear to be relative to and in furtherance of any piece of legislation. PCP President Marikina expressed disappointment that cabinet members and employees are prevented from attending hearings of the Blue Ribbon Committee. No other phenomenon in history than the COVID-19 global pandemic has opened our eyes and minds wider to the vulnerability and folly of this long-standing passivity, the group said in a statement. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Bato Go Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Jerk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Bato Go Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. The palace on Monday congratulated Rappler CEO Ressa for receiving the Philippines' first Nobel Peace Prize, but said her victory did not mean that the country's press freedom is under siege. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque lauded Ressa 2 days after the Norwegian Nobel Committee named her winner alongside Russia's Dmitry Muratov, the first for journalists since Germany's Karl von Ossietzky bagged the award in 1935. Roque, however, maintained that press freedom was not under attack in the Philippines. He made the remark when asked by a reporter if Ressa's feat was a slap on the administration, which has long been accused of creating an environment hostile to media workers critical of its coverage of the government. Certainly not, Roque said, responding to the question. In an effort to defend the administration, he also quoted a portion of national artist F. Chanel Jose's lengthy Facebook post, in which the writer said Ressa did not deserve the prize. The Philippine press is alive and well not because of Ressa, said Jose, who also bared that he himself was in the listing of possible Nobel Literacy Prize winners as published in international media. Roque said the palace agreed with Jose, a recipient of the Ramon Magsaysay Award for Journalism. The Magsaysay Award is the Asian equivalent of the Nobel Prize. However, Malacanang's mouthpiece quickly clarified that the government respects the decision of the Nobel Committee to grant the award to Ressa. Ressa, an award-winning journalist, has focused much of her work on President Rodrigo Duterte's controversial war on drugs. She said she is hoping that her victory would give adrenaline and energy to Filipino journalists, adding that her win was also proof the world is watching the Philippines. With cities like Manila and Parañaque already using no-contact traffic apprehension schemes, the local government of Quezon City on Monday launched its own version of the system. The No-Contact Apprehension Program, or NCAP, is intended to enhance road safety, ease traffic congestion, and instill discipline among motorists, Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte said. Road safety is a priority in Quezon City, and with the launch of NCAP, they commit to putting the safety of their constituents first, Belmonte said. She added that they are not chasing this program to earn revenues for the city government. When there is no ticket, it is better for everyone because it means all motorists are disciplined. NCAP will utilize modern cameras with artificial intelligence technology to capture, photograph, and record the conduction stickers and license plates of vehicles whose drivers were violating road regulations. When the cameras detect a traffic violation, the system will generate a notice of violation or NOV to be sent to the local government unit for review and approval. The Marikina city government has condoned the penalties and interests of public market vendors and stall occupants who have been finding it difficult to pay rentals during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mayor Marcelino Marci Teodoro said in a statement he decided to waive the surcharges in response to the clamor of the Marikina public market stall occupants. They have been badly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and this is just a little way to help them, and they will remove this heavy burden on them, the mayor added. Teodoro is running for another term in next year's elections. He said that market vendors approached him last October 8 as he was about to file his certificate of candidacy. Stall occupants approached him and humbly asked him to help them during the pandemic by removing the penalties and interests for failing to pay their rent, the mayor said. They told him that the number of their customers decreased due to quarantine restrictions. He said he immediately asked the city council to pass an ordinance that waived the penalties and interest charges. The impacts of the pandemic are real, but we can unite and help each other through these hard times, the mayor added. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Boto mo to, Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage. Boto mo to, Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. The Philippine National Police would welcome if the Grab driver hit by a stray bullet during a police operation to arrest actor Jake Cuenca last week would decide to file charges against the cops responsible. PNP Chief General Guillermo Eleazar assured Monday that corrective measures and disciplinary actions are being readied against the personnel involved in the Mandaluyong incident. Eleazar has ordered Eastern Police District Director Brigadier General Matthew Bakay to place all lawmen involved in the incident under restrictive custody while an investigation is being conducted. In a statement, Eleazar apologized to the Grab driver who was hit by the stray bullet when members of the city police fired on Cuenca's vehicle. He assured that the police will take care of all the driver's medical expenses during hospitalization and that the PNP will extend financial assistance during his recovery period. Earlier, it was reported that operatives of the Station Drug Enforcement Unit of the Mandaluyong City Police were about to leave an area in Barangay Barangka following an operation when their car was hit by a vehicle driven by Cuenca. Instead of going out of the car, Cuenca sped off, prompting the lawmen to give chase. Operatives shot the tires of Cuenca's vehicle in a bid to stop it, but they also hit the Grab driver. Vaccination is highly effective at preventing severe cases of COVID-19, even against the Delta variant, a vast study in France has shown. The research published Monday, focusing on prevention of severe COVID and death, not infection, looked at 22 million people over 50 and found those who had received jabs were 90% less likely to be hospitalized or die. The results confirm observations from the United States, the United Kingdom, and Israel, but researchers say it is the largest study of its kind so far. Looking at data collected starting in December 2020, when France launched its jab campaign, the researchers compared the outcomes of 11 million vaccinated people with 11 million unvaccinated subjects. Starting 14 days after a second dose, a vaccinated subject's risk of severe COVID was reduced by 90%, according to the research conducted by EpiFair, an independent medicine safety research group that works closest with the French government. Vaccination appears to be nearly as effective against the Delta variant, with 84% protection for people 75 and older and 92% for people 50 to 75. That estimate, however, is only based on a month of data since the variant became dominant in France only in June. The study covers vaccination with the Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna and AstraZeneca jabs, but not Janssen, which was authorized much later and is far less widely used in France. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Arnada Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Cue. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning!